Danger Dolan. From third nipples on celebrities to unborn siblings growing limbs all over your chest and back, we count 15 of the most bizarre appendages ever to sprout on the human body.
Number 15.
The two-headed baby. These two boys were born from a 25-year-old Brazilian woman, Maria de Nazar. The twins shared the same lungs, liver, heart, and pelvis, but with two individual brains and spinal columns. The director of Santa Casa Hospital advised the mother that removing or separating their heads was not an option since both brains were functioning and independent, but simply shared their body. So she called them Emmanuel and Jesus, in tribute of the fabled religious figures.
Number 14.
The Spider Girl, India, 1970. Two conjoined twins are born, Ganga and Jamuna Mondal, sharing 4 arms, 3 legs, 2 of which are working, 2 hearts, 2 kidneys, 1 liver, 1 sexual organ, and stomach. But they got their name Spider Girl working at the Dreamland Circus, showing off their daily routine to people, and the way they walked just as a two-headed spider would.
Number 13.
Mark Wahlberg, the well-known actor, has a third nipple on the left side of his chest. He considered getting it removed when he initially started acting work, but with time he just came to accept it as part of him. Only fewer than 2% of Earth's population have these, likely more since they are commonly mistaken for moles on the armpit or the groin.
Number 12.
The two-bodied girl. These are extra limbs and body parts inherited by accident. In the womb, Lakshmi Tatma had a parasitic twin that stopped developing halfway through, and so she absorbed the other twin's body parts into her own. Thus, she was born with 4 arms, 4 legs, another kidney, stomach, chest cavity, and nerves. Doctors decided to remove all these extraneous body parts in an expensive $625,000 operation that took 27 hours to complete.
Number 11.
The Horned Woman. This is from a 101-year-old woman from China, Zhang Rufang, who sprouted a goat horn on the left side of her forehead. Soon after, another began growing on the other side. The horn grew to 2 inches in size, made of keratin, the same material found in fingernails, and is technically removable with a sterile razor. Although, since it is a type of tumor, you'd still need to treat the underlying cause, or chances are it would just grow back.
Number 10.
The two-faced baby. This is known as transverse facial cleft, and the cause is unknown. But the baby's face literally lifts off the skull to form a fleshy mask. The story goes the baby's mother begged and pleaded to see what happened after birth, but the husband wouldn't let her see it until she finally managed to see the problem, and she broke down in tears. It cost around $100,000 to fix, but thankfully, the baby was successfully treated at the People's Liberation Army's military hospital.
Number 9.
The spine fetus. This Chinese girl was born with a tiny undeveloped fetus planted firmly on her back. They left it there for so long of a time until when she turned 11, it got to a point where the fetus had developed so clearly you could see arms and legs. In the end, her parents opted for surgery, and the fetus was successfully removed from her back.
Number 8.
The Three-Legged Man, 1844, Germany. George Lippert carried with him a third leg and, strangely enough, a second heart, although this wasn't known until his autopsy over 60 years later. It was in his early career that he became known as the Three-Legged Man, alongside his three-legged rival Francesco Lentini, who lived a very successful and long life. Lippert couldn't actually use his third leg though, however he does claim that it was fully functional before a bad fracture a few years earlier.
Number 7.
Extra fingers and toes. A 6-year-old boy who sported 15 fingers and 16 toes, which broke the previous record of 25 digits with his 31. However, the boy had his digits reduced to a standard 20 in an operation that took 5 hours to complete, so now he can wear normal shoes and perhaps even use chopsticks given time.
Number 6.
The umbilical cord finger. This one was man-made. A 20-year-old furniture maker, Wang Zhongyun, who lost the top of his finger to an electric saw. The doctor in charge of saving the finger had to make a snap decision: restore blood flow or lose the entire digit. So he made a faux umbilical cord from Wang's stomach to his missing fingertip to restore that blood flow and regenerate a new finger. And somehow, that shit worked.
Number 5.
The boy with a body coming out of his chest. 2010. A 7-year-old Indian boy, Deepak Paswan, born with 4 legs and 4 arms from a parasitic womb twin. Hindu pilgrims visited his home to worship him as an incarnation of the god Vishnu, which made his family very uncomfortable, so they decided to take him to Bangalore to have the limbs removed. It was a 4-hour operation, and a successful one. He now lives with no additional limbs and a wicked scar on his chest.
Number 4.
The extra arm. 2006 Shanghai. A baby is born with a fully developed third arm. The problem was, which arm do you remove? Both are in the correct spot. You can't keep one because then you wouldn't be able to use the other. Eventually, the doctors just decided to remove the arm laid across his chest since it couldn't fully extend. But the arm they left had no palm and it needed intense physical therapy to make it move properly.
Number 3.
The woman with 2 vaginas, Hazel Jones. It wasn't until she was 18 years of age that her boyfriend at the time noticed something unusual with her pelvis. She consulted the doctor who told her she had 2 separate uteruses and cervixes inside one hole. This meant since there were 2 vaginal chasms, she had to lose her virginity twice, although she has to deal with cramps and intense periods each month.
Number 2.
The DNA Kid. This is a 2-year-old boy, and at the time he was the only known kid in the world to have an extra strand in his DNA. Unfortunately, he was born blind and with disabilities, and doctors were so baffled by the discovery that nobody knows what to even name the condition. What this means for science and humankind is still unclear, although all signs point to a standard mutation, but a unique one at that.
Number 1.
An extra head. A bit of a tragic story from Manar Muhammad, where a sibling was conjoined at the head to her sister. The second head was fully functional with its own brain and motor skills, but it fed off Manar's organs to the point of heart failure. The only prognosis was removal of the extra head, which should have killed them both, but miraculously Manar survived, although at the cost of her undeveloped sister. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one.